Hey, True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you with something super special that I've been dying to share with y'all. And I decided to go over it today because we've gotten and hit 400 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and I absolutely cannot thank y'all enough for joining this community. I love hanging out and just talking with every single one of you. And it's just so much fun to hear everyone's thoughts and what brings everybody into the comic and action figure and pop culture environment. I love hearing y'all's stories down in the comments and on our social media pages. So, for a thank you, I wanted to share the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Dark Knight's Death Metal Gold Label Batmobeast. And this thing, as you can see, is a monster. I'm not able to even fit it in my normal environment of my whitewashed background. It kind of bleeds out, but whatever, just to show the scope of this bad mamma jamma. So as you see, we get the gold label here. We get the DC Multiverse Batmobeast there. Cool, kick-ass product shot there. Flip it around on the top. Has the cool logo there. Flip it around. So just says the Batmobeast. Come around to the back, and I like these product shots. I just like this very gray, simple look about it. Very cool. Detail. Batmobeast there on the side again. Nothing on the bottom but the legal. Now, if you guys want to pick this up, at the time of this recording, it is a Walmart exclusive, and it's still available. So I highly recommend picking this bad boy up as soon as possible. Now, with that said, is this thing kick-ass or not? Let's get it out and get a closer look at it. Now, here's this massive, beefy machine out of the packaging. And I love the way this thing rolls. It's just big, large, and in charge. Gorgeous looking piece. I mean, look at how large this sucker is. Now, before we start gushing any further, let's talk about why you'd care about this character. His backstory is he was created by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. His first and last appearance were in Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 2 from September of 2020. His origins were revealed in Dark Knight's Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights number 1 from October of 2020. Now, the world of Batmobeast, though Earth isn't designated, went into chaos as it began running out of gas. Batman decided to upload his consciousness into every digital system. After he turned Gotham into a surveillance state, the citizens rose up, destroying both the Dark Knight's body along with any system containing his consciousness. However, this monster truck was the only thing that still retained Batman's conscious, calling itself Batmobeast. Now, the Batman Who Laughs recruited him to invade Earth Zero under the pact with Perpetua, winning the war for the world within a week. As we move into Dark Knight's Death Metal, Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, and Wally West later abducted and hacked Batmobeast to gain access to Valhalla Cemetery, needing to safely travel through the hellscape that was the former United States. Batmobeast here annoyed Swamp Thing by mockingly answering a joke Swamp Thing had asked, which resulted in Swamp Thing destroying Batmobeast's digital systems, rendering him essentially dead. And the whole thing is Wally tells Swamp Thing, just so you know, that was essentially just a dad joke. And Swamp Thing gets super offended. It's hit or miss. You have to read it for yourself. But now that you can kind of understand where this idea comes from, there are 2 releases of this. The one that's more comic accurate, and I'm sort of struggling with this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But in the comics, this machine had a blue cover over the chassis. And in the comics, it works. It looks really badass. But when McFarlane revealed the original one, yes, the blue shell takes off and you get what you see here. But it looked like an RC car toy. It just was not exciting. There was, for me, this is just my opinion, there was nothing dynamic about it. So when they re-released it just like this, I don't know. There's just something about where I thought this looks more badass. There are people saying, oh, you could have bought the blue one and just took the chassis off. C'est la vie. To each their own. I'm in love with this one. Now for accessories that this comes with, he does come with a trading card, which I'm absolutely irritated that they use someone else's toy photography. I don't know. It just kind of feels cheap. I would rather, and I've said this on several reviews, see comic book panel art. Like if they would have used the original cover from Dark Knight's Death Metal issue 2, that would have looked badass. But what we get, as you see here, is just, it is what it is. Now I'll make sure to flip the card around so you guys can read the read up on the back and see how interested you are in going and checking out the lore of this machine. The other couple of things that he does come with is there's a stand. Now, why is there the mandatory DC stand? We once again get what, a third, fourth iteration of the Death Metal Batman with his leather coat, which, don't get me wrong, it comes with a figure that's badass, but for me, this is my personal opinion, we've gotten 3 versions of this Batman. We've gotten the Dr. Manhattan touched Wally West Blue Flash. And I believe we've gotten the Wonder Woman with the chainsaw, and of course we got the Heavy Metal Batman. For the love of Pete, why couldn't we have gotten Swamp Thing with the Batman goggles from the comic? That would have screamed awesome to me. Or the Joker, or Harley Quinn. Hell, anybody else from Death Metal other than another freaking version of a action figure that we already have, and no extra accessory. Like, we had to buy 2 versions of this Batman already to get the scythe and then the one with the red guitar. Same figure, nothing changed on it whatsoever. Now, I can kind of, from a marketing point of view, I can get that, especially with this. You're releasing this giant plastic beast, and then they have to cast a whole nother mold for Swamp Thing. I can understand why you'd want to maybe throw something that you already have, but from your customers, your loyal fans that buy this stuff, give us something new with it, my God. That aside, those are all the accessories that this accessory comes with, so I can't complain too much. At least we're getting more than just this. At least we're getting a figure, a stand, a card. That's cool. I can't complain too much about that. Now, putting Batman in Batmobeast, it's not hard, but it kind of can be a challenge. Again, warm this figure up, just like with the other 2 Death Metal Batmans I picked up. Joints tight as poopola. So just kind of get him into a, how about it, we get into a focus mode first. Get him into a sitting mode. Now the sitting part is only difficult. I'm glad that McFarlane made this loose like this, which I wish he'd make all Batman's capes loose like this, because if this wasn't like this, we would be SOL. So you go through the main cockpit, pull his arms up, get them legs in there, kind of sit him down, get his legs through the pipes, which will focus here. So something like that. You can pull the cape back further to get him to sit down better. Now, the challenge is getting both hands on the steering wheel. So let me see if I can do this for you guys, because, yeah, trying to not knock the tripod too much and yada yada yada. It's a challenge in and of itself. So let me move a light over here to get some better lighting. You have to do it from the bottom rung. Kind of get his hand up under there. Move your hands around the railing, and as you're doing this, Bats is wanting to sit up on you, which is the frustrating part. So yeah, let me spin this big sucker around. And you can kind of turn his hands, like when you turn the steering wheel for photography poses, the whole figure, you know, is fighting against you to do what it wants to do. So it can be a bit of a bitch, but as you can see, thankfully the steering wheel turns. Just gotta make sure you kind of keep Batman sitting. But it's doable. So, hallelujah, it works. And as you can see, for the most part, looks pretty damn good. The design on this is absolutely gorgeous. Now, that's not to say there are a few things that may chap your ass. Like, as you can see here, the paint apps aren't too bad. I mean, that gray all the way around looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it just looks flapping battle ready. So you kind of twist this around. I just kind of wish maybe on top of all that gray that we could have maybe got some black dry brushing on there. However, with that said, I do like they made sure to make this look like a monster truck. Like you kind of get this brown paint to make it look like dirt's kicking up as Batman's tearing through the hellscape that once was the United States. The wheels are kind of in the same category where you get that nice black, and I love that the wheels themselves look like essentially bats, because you can kind of see where the wings flap out. Let me see if I can get a better shot of that. And it's like Batman's head. Now, since, I don't know, maybe because it's the vanity of Batman, but I think it would have been cooler if it was skulls. But again, I like that none of them look the same, like this one here. Let's see if I can get it focus. Kind of like a double scar there, as where this one has a slash. And they just think, and then some are clean. That's cool for me. And then all the spikes. I'm glad that they decided to not try to do like a brand name on the tire, like, you know, instead of Goodyear, put like Batyear. I'm glad that they didn't go that far, because that would have been stupid. Now again, the brown, like there's got the gunmetal dark gray here, and then we just got the straight black with the spikes on the wheels, and then the bat here on the for the hubcap. And all the brown, all the mud kicking up. Maybe that's what the front of this is missing. Is it looks too damn clean. Like, you know, the undercarriage looks like something happened. And I mean, even when you get up under this boy, you can see that there's mud all up underneath and on the front. So I don't know, maybe here along the sides, you know, the exhausts are not exactly going to stay clean either. So I don't know, maybe that's just being too persnickety. But that's my opinion. Love the bat here. That's nice. And of course they have the seat where Batman goes. Let me zoom out so you guys can kind of get more of a look around this car. I like that. I'm not sure exactly what these are supposed to be. Now, if you guys have the one with the chassis and you think that I'm wrong, feel free to put photos on our social media pages so that, you know, if it actually looks good, then I'll eat crow and go from there. I don't know. Anyway, on the engine, love that it has the bat. And of course the vent looks great. And nope. Oh, this one pops off. So for the blue, where you can put the chassis on, you pop the vent off, put the chassis down, then you put this on and snap it into place. So that's cool. Maybe I might see if it looks cool. Maybe I'll go on eBay and see if they just have like a loose chassis. That way so you have to buy two. So if you want to go that route, there's that route. Roll cage looks great. Let me get a zoom in of the steering wheel, which I think is kind of neat. And of course, it spins, which is really cool. And then there's mud on the steering wheel. And you can kind of see it down yonder. So again, why are the damn exhaust pipes clean? My god, that just drives me nuts. But whatever. Shocks look great. Everything else looks great. I think it's just because this part, as I've said several times now, looks too damn clean. But overall, I mean, the damn thing rolls great. I mean, look at that. And the scaling of it is monster. Now, scaling, I've put the Merciless from Dark Knight's metal, which I think this was a Build-A-Figure with the Wonder Woman, Superman, and then the guitar, Death Metal Batman. And then the Bat Cycle, which was an earlier release. You put these 3 older iterations next to this big, beefy SOB, and you can see how he monsters over the rest of these figures. So if you're, again, and I've said this with past Batman figures, if you're a huge Batman fan, like I am, then you've got to have the Batmobeast. Especially if you liked metal or death metal. Speaking of death metal, I went over the first 7 issues, and going back, I scathed that something fierce. I'm kind of maybe starting to have some second thoughts. So if you guys would like to see me revisit the 7 issues plus the tie-ins I've read since then over on our After Dark channel, kind of like how I did Amazing Spider-Man 55, let me know down in the comments if that's something y'all would be interested in checking out, because I'm starting to have a change of heart, starting to read these further in-depth books that I passed on initially. Because after reading the books and seeing tangible versions of them, the Batmobeast, of course, this Batman, and then the metal figures were absolutely spectacular. And then, of course, this Bat Skull Batmobile, which I eventually will review this thing. I've been putting it off for years just because I get busy, forget about it, but I've used it in a lot of photography. So if you want to see this in the near future, let me know as well. But again, Batman fan, you guys are going to have a great time with all of these figures. Do you plan on picking this one up or the first version? Let us know, and we'd love to see displays and photography of the Batmobeast as well. Once again, guys, we appreciate every single one of you that has joined this community, all 400 of you and future members as well. Comictopia, as well as I myself, Chris Mack, enjoy every single one of y'all, getting to know y'all, talking in the comments or on our social media pages. It's just so fun with this community that we're building. Each and every one of us brings something special to the table, and that's what makes this important and fun and inspiring for me. And that's why when I do these reviews, I try to make them the best quality that I can with the equipment that I have, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of you have seen behind the scenes. I use multiple lights from Walmart, Amazon. Back when I was a kid, I jacked a lot of my dad's old upholstery lights, which kind of helps immensely. And in the back, which this whole whitewash board setup, I need to get something different, because what I'm using right now is just boards from Walmart. As you can see, they're not wide enough. If you guys have another trick for whitewashing out your background and whatnot, let me know, because I'm always about learning, you know, whether it be about pop culture, photography, art, digital art, and computers, believe it or not. But that's me. And again, that's another thing that we all bring to the table, all of our differences that we bring in and celebrate together. And that's why here for this closing, I wanted to show the Bat figures that we've gone over for Death Metal already. We went over the Wonder Woman, the Superman, and then, of course, we did both of the other Batmans, which, again, I'll make sure to leave links to these down in the description. And again, if you guys want me to do the Bat Cycle, let me know. I will review that as well. And again, just kind of doing another scale comparison. Look at how big this thing sits in the background compared to our figures. And that's what makes this thing so damn beautiful, and definitely get it in your collection, whether it's the cage version or the blue shell cover, whichever one y'all prefer. Now, if you all have enjoyed what you've seen of all these figures, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is that you get your action figures and your comics. And just grab all of these. If you're a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman fan, these are all going to go great into your collection. Now, if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you guys just take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps this club and community out more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little death metal bell next to subscribe, that way when we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you all so much. Looking forward to the future with every single one of y'all. Photo slideshow coming up next, and I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.